The landscape of election 2016 has changed radically this week on the GOP side. After another win for Donald Trump in Indiana on Tuesday, his two remaining competitors decided to call it quits.
I've always said that the Lord has a purpose for me as he has for everyone. And as I suspend my campaign today, I have renewed faith, deeper faith, that the Lord will show me the way forward and fulfill the purpose of my life. Thank you, and God bless.
And so, with a heavy heart, but with boundless optimism for the long-term future of our nation, we are suspending our campaign.
And on the Democratic side, Bernie Sanders pulled out the win in Indiana as well. This week, he vowed to continue his campaign, even though Clinton is nudging him to get out of the race. Joining us now with, some discussion about all this craziness that's gone on with election 2016, Rick Mullaney. He's the director of JU's Public Policy Institute. Let's start with the GOP side. Cruz dropping out actually surprised me only because him dropping out before Kasich. But then when Kasich dropped out, I feel like we expected that. But let's talk about now it's just Donald Trump.
It is just Donald Trump, and you weren't the only one surprised that Ted Cruz dropped out on Tuesday night. Many thought he would go on to California on June 7th. But when you looked at the numbers, Donald Trump had been on a run. You saw Trump surge. You saw it in New York. You saw it in the primaries in the Northeast. Then you saw it in Indiana. And for his money and the path forward, there wasn't one. So on the Republican side, it is over. It is Donald Trump. He is going to be the nominee. On the Democratic side, of course, it's going to be Hillary Clinton. Now you're going to see this great pivot forward. We may talk about this a little bit, about how Donald Trump goes about uniting the party. But one thing to keep in perspective, we have just witnessed history. It is an amazing run by Donald Trump. He announced on June 16th of last year. 10 months later, you're hard-pressed to find anybody who 10 months ago would have said this is the case. But Donald Trump is going to be the Republican nominee, a remarkable run over the last 10 months.
And we will, of course, get to the Democratic side, but a question really quick as well, because I've kind of seen a shift on Facebook from some people on my Facebook who were originally supporting other people. Now they said, well, we're going to stick with our party. We'll support Trump now. The party as a whole, some are feeling that way. I'm going to stick to my party. Others just say, I'm not going to vote for Trump. So how is the party feeling?
Right now, I believe at this point in history, right now you have a crisis in the Republican Party. I really do believe that. It's as deep a divide and as fractured a party as you've seen in a century. And you're going to see Paul Ryan and Donald Trump meeting on Thursday. The pause by Paul Ryan is not the problem. It's a symptom of the problem, this deep divide. Among your friends, I think they're somewhat typical that in the end, the majority of Republicans will support Trump. However, many will be reluctant. Many will stay home. But Trump's pathway includes not just them. It also includes new voters, and it includes blue-collar Democrats in the Rust Belt. So the Republican Party, at this point, I believe, is a party in turmoil.
Something else, speaking of social media, that I've seen is some people are still pushing for Bernie Sanders on my feed there. No matter how well Hillary keeps coming out ahead, there's just really no way that Bernie's going to get it, though, right? At this point,
there is no way that Bernie Sanders is going to get the nomination, but you've touched on something. If there was one word that would describe Bernie Sanders' campaign that does not describe Hillary Clinton's, and it is passion. He has struck a chord, especially with millennials. They are passionate about Bernie Sanders. As he's made clear, he's staying through to the end. He won't be dropping out like Cruz and Kasich. He will be there to the end, and he's had an enormous impact on this race, pulling Hillary Clinton to the left. And although there are divides within the Democratic Party, not nearly as much anger and not nearly as divisive as the Republican side. So I believe they'll coalesce in the end.
So since we're seeing it, really, it's looking like Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. So let's pull up some recent poll numbers by CNN. We're going to have those on your screen so you can see kind of would be the general election numbers that we have. 41% Donald Trump, 54% Hillary Clinton. So do you agree with those numbers, or could they shift really once things are official?
Yes and yes. And by that I mean at this point in time, today, the odds-on favorite is Hillary Clinton. And there are lots of reasons for that. Demographics favor her. The electoral map favors her. But if the last 10 months have taught us anything, it's you can't underestimate Donald Trump. We are still 6 months out. I will say this. Last year in July, 6 months before the primary, Donald Trump was in the lead. Now, 6 months before the general election, he is behind. He can pull this out. However, the odds do favor Hillary Clinton. She has it the female vote is a real problem for Donald Trump. Millennials are a problem for Donald Trump, and the electoral map. He's going to have to do well in the Rust Belt, has to win Florida, has to win Ohio, has to win maybe even Pennsylvania if he's going to have a chance at succeeding.
Another, and this is just an opinion question, so there's no right answer, but as far as both of them, who would be a good VP pick to help them in this race? You know what I mean? Have maybe voters go, oh, now I want Hillary because of who she picked, or Donald Trump because of who he picked?
Well, on the Republican side with Donald Trump, I think, as he has said, I think you're going to find a more political person, not a businessman. He's already that. Don't be surprised to see on his short list a Marco Rubio, a John Kasich, a Chris Christie. On the Democratic side, I think you're going to see a male from Hillary Clinton. You could see someone from Virginia, maybe somebody from Texas. You've heard conversations about a couple different people from Virginia. It will not be Bernie Sanders, although there's been that speculation. And so we'll see on those.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, and we will continue to cover election 2016. Even though we've had some departures, the primaries will continue. Nebraska is the next one for Republicans, and that's on Tuesday. The same day, Democrats in West Virginia head to the polls.